This story is titled, While Babysitting My Nephew, He Looked Up and Said, Mom says you're a loser who'll die in a one-bedroom apartment with no friends. I just laughed, made him mac and cheese, and left my sister's locked phone on record. 3 days later, her husband found it. Now she's living at our mom's, crying that I'd destroyed her life over a joke. A joke she taught her kid to say. I didn't plan to write this. Honestly, I never post. I read, I lurk, I scroll. But after what happened last weekend, I've been replaying this one moment over and over in my head, and it's either I put it into words or I implode. So here we are. It happened while I was babysitting my nephew. I was sitting on the couch, this crusty old couch in my sister's living room that still smells faintly like baby formula and her ex's cologne. My nephew, Milo, he's 6, cute as hell, way too smart for his own good, was on the floor building a tower out of random toys and old mail. It was a Saturday. Nothing special. She needed someone to watch him because she had some appointment. I said sure. I always say sure. I was zoning out, half watching Milo, half scrolling through my phone, when he looked up and dropped the words that set this whole thing in motion. Mom says you're a loser who'll die in a one-bedroom apartment with no friends. Just like that? Like he was asking for more juice or something? I laughed. Not because it was funny, not even because it surprised me. I laughed because it was the kind of thing that hits you so sideways you don't know what else to do. I felt the laugh come up dry and automatic, like a hiccup you pretend is on purpose. I said, "She really said that?" And he just nodded, proud, like he'd nailed a school recital. He even added, "She said you're why Grandma drinks wine during the day." Cool. Awesome. Love that for me. I made him mac and cheese. He was hungry. He's just a kid. But while the water boiled, something shifted in my brain. Something cold and quiet. I saw her phone on the counter, locked, face down, charging. She'd left it behind, probably assuming I wouldn't touch it. I tapped it awake. Still locked. But I know my sister. Emily's password hasn't changed in years. Our old home address. I typed it in. Bingo. Then I did something I've never done before in my life. I opened the voice memos app, hit record, slid the volume to 0, and left the phone there, just out of sight. I didn't know what I expected. Maybe nothing. Maybe proof. Maybe just a way to make myself feel like I wasn't crazy. Like someone else would finally hear the way she talks when she thinks no one's paying attention. I finished cooking, served up the mac and cheese, and kept my voice steady. I didn't say a word about it. Not yet. The thing about Emily is, she's always had a gift for cruelty that looks like charm if you don't know better. She's the kind of person who can say, "Bless your heart," and make you want to crawl out of your own skin. Growing up, she knew how to land a hit and still come out smelling like lavender lotion and plausible deniability. But she's also the golden one. Always was. If I got a B+, it was try harder. If she skipped class, it was maybe she's overwhelmed. Same parents, two different expectations. Our mom used to say, Emily's got more on her plate, which I now realize was code for she's dramatic and mean but pretty, so we all just tolerate it. Anyway, I left that day with a fake smile, a rinsed dish in the sink, and her phone still quietly recording. I didn't listen to the audio. Not right away. I wasn't sure I even wanted to know what was on it. But it lived in my mind the whole drive home, the way Milo said it. Not confused. Not curious. Confident. Like he was just repeating what he heard enough times to memorize. It wasn't the first time she'd said it in front of him. That much was clear. And I kept wondering, how long had she been poisoning him like that? Was that the first jab or just the first one he repeated? I got home, poured a drink I didn't need, and flopped on my couch, her phone in my hoodie pocket like it was ticking. I stared at it for a while. Thought about what I was doing. Thought about why. And then I opened the recording. 39 minutes. I listened. Most of it was just background noise. Cartoons. Milo humming, some rustling, then her voice. Off camera, off-handed, chilling. She always says she's fine, but losers have to say that. No one's going to admit they're dying of loneliness in a crappy apartment. Milo laughed. Like a sad robot. Emily again. Exactly. Sad robot auntie. Later. If I ever end up like her, just bury me. There was more. So much more. Not just about me. About her husband, Mark. About their friends. About our mom. I sat there clutching the phone, trying to decide if this counted as betrayal or just finally listening in on what's been said behind my back for years. I didn't know what to do with it yet. I just knew I wasn't imagining it. That night I texted her. Just a casual, Thanks for letting me hang with Milo today. He's getting so smart. She replied, he adores you. And all I could think was, yeah, probably because he hasn't figured out yet who you really are. The thing about Emily is, she doesn't explode. She seeps. When she wants to hurt someone, she doesn't yell or throw plates. She makes small cuts, casual digs in front of people. Oh, she's always been sensitive. You know how she gets? A smile so tight it might as well be barbed wire. You bleed before you realize what happened. So when I got that "he adores you" text, I knew it wasn't just post-babysitting gratitude, it was branding, a reminder that she controls the narrative, that I play my part in the family system, friendly, helpful, but invisible when it matters. I didn't reply. Instead, I took her phone back the next morning, said I found it under the couch, and watched her laugh like I was the absent-minded one. OMG, you're a lifesaver. I was losing my mind. She didn't even check if anything had changed. Didn't notice the app still open in the background. Later that day, I did something I haven't done in years. I called Mark. We don't talk much. Not because of anything bad. Just because Emily's always been the buffer. She likes it that way. Keeps the worlds separate. But I was curious. Curious if he knew what his wife was teaching their kid. Curious if he even could know and still look so calm at birthday parties. He answered after 3 rings. His voice sounded tired. Not sad. Just drained. Hey, everything okay? He asked. Yeah, I said. Just checking in. Milo said some funny stuff the other day. Mark laughed. Oh yeah? What kind of funny? The silence stretched. I couldn't say it. Not yet. Just kid stuff, I muttered. You know how he is. We talked 5 more minutes about nothing. He asked about work. I asked about their new car. I hung up feeling like I'd just tiptoed past a minefield. That night, I went back to the audio, listened to the parts I'd skipped. I mean, Mark is so gullible. You could tell him I'm out saving whales and he'd believe it. But it's fine. He's a good dad. Just boring. Like if Mayo got a law degree. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because I could finally hear the thing I'd always suspected. Emily doesn't love anyone. Not really. She uses people, poses for family pictures, makes Pinterest-perfect birthday cakes, but it's all a performance. I still hadn't told anyone. Not yet. But the recording lived on my phone now. I'd emailed it to myself, uploaded it to the cloud, saved it on a drive, just in case. And still, part of me kept asking, am I overreacting? Then, on day 3, Mark texted me. Just 3 words. Is this real? I stared at the text. Is this real? Like it might change if I blinked enough times. I didn't reply right away. My hands went cold, phone warm against my palm. I sat on the floor in my apartment, knees pulled up, feeling like I just jumped off something high without checking where I'd land. He had the recording. Somehow, some way, Mark got it. I thought about denying it, saying I didn't know what he meant, playing dumb, but I didn't. I just asked, what did she say? He sent a voice memo. I hesitated, then hit play. It was my nephew's voice. Clear as day. Mom says Auntie's a loser who's gonna die alone in her ugly apartment. Then Emily laughing. Don't forget the part about no friends. Then, my voice, from the kitchen. That's enough, buddy. Time for lunch. It was one of the last bits of the recording. He must have found it after I returned the phone. Mark texted again. She said it was a joke, that you're twisting things, but that didn't sound like a joke. I didn't say anything. What could I say? Instead, I typed out, you heard it. I didn't edit anything. Believe what you want. He left me on read. 2 hours later, my phone blew up. My mom texted, why is Emily crying in my guest room? Then, she said you destroyed her marriage over a misunderstanding? Then, you need to come over. Fix this? I didn't answer. Instead, I scrolled. Emily had deleted every recent post from Instagram. No more family brunches, no more #blessed wife selfies. The curated life just vanished. By the end of the day, I'd heard from 3 people I haven't spoken to in months. A cousin asking if Emily was okay. An old friend saying, is it true? Emily's group chat? Silent. Frozen. Like everyone was waiting to see which way the shame would slide. That night, I opened my freezer, grabbed a frozen pizza, and waited for someone else to speak first. Because I'd finally learned something. Silence is its own reply. Update 1. First, thanks. I didn't think this would get any attention. I just needed to scream into the void. But some of your comments hit harder than therapy. So yeah, thank you. It's been a week since that night. Since Mark found the recording. Since Emily fled to our mom's place like I'd burned down her dream life with a match she left lit. Let me tell you, the silence in that group chat didn't last. 2 days after my last post, our cousin Bree shared a screenshot in the extended family group. It was Emily's text. I'm staying with mom for now. Just need some space. Some people don't know how to take a joke. Cue the explosion. Uncle Rick, yes, that Uncle Rick, responded, "You taught your kid to say what?" Emily didn't answer. Mark, apparently, had played the recording for more than just me. Our mom heard it. So did her book club friends. So did their couple's therapist. You know who didn't get an apology? Me. Instead, Emily's strategy is full victim pivot. It was just humor. I was venting. She's always so dramatic. Cool. If I'm dramatic, I learned from the best. Mark's been texting, not constantly, but enough. Little things like, how long has this been going on? Or, did she say stuff like this before? I don't want to be his emotional crutch, but it's hard not to answer. The guy is unraveling, and not loudly. Quietly. Scary quiet. Meanwhile, my mom keeps calling, leaving voicemails that start calm and end with, "I don't even know who you are anymore." Right? Because I didn't roll over and pretend it was normal for a 6-year-old to call me a loser. And Milo? I haven't seen him since. Emily's keeping him close. Maybe scared he'll say something else true. I did get one more text, though. From Mark. Just today. Whatever happens, thank you for not letting it slide. That one stuck with me? So yeah. Update 1. The truth's out, the damage is done, and no one's really sure who to blame yet. But they're starting to figure it out. And Emily? She hasn't texted me once. But she did unblock me on Instagram. That's how I know she's scared. Emily's Instagram was back up by Tuesday. Just photos of Milo in a hoodie too big for him, a blurry pic of a sunset captioned healing, and some cryptic quote slide about when people weaponize your humor. You know? The usual soft launch comeback routine. The only thing she didn't post was an apology. But our family? Oh, they were watching. Cousin Bree told me someone had shared the recording on Facebook Messenger. Not public, but circling. Apparently, my Aunt Karen said she almost threw up, hearing her own voice laughing in the background of a different clip, an old video from a barbecue, where Emily joked about unmarried women being like expired coupons. Karen's divorced. The rot was deeper than I realized. Meanwhile, Mark moved into a hotel. He didn't tell Emily where. She's been calling around, playing it cool on the phone, but crying to mom that she can't believe he's taking her words that seriously. She keeps saying it was a joke like that's a spell she can cast to rewind time. But the thing about jokes, people remember how they made you feel. And this one made a lot of us feel like trash. Mark texted me again. Said Milo asked why Daddy sleeps in a different place now. Said Emily told him it's because Auntie made trouble. Nice. So I called her. First time in weeks. I asked, "Did you really tell Milo that?" She said, "What was I supposed to say?" I said, "Maybe tell him the truth. Or shut up." She went quiet, then said, "This is why no one wants you at holidays. You make everything ugly." I almost laughed. Ugly? She has a 6-year-old parrot who repeats her cruelty like it's scripture, and I'm the ugly one? I didn't reply. I just hung up. Later, I saw that she'd blocked me. Again. Probably her favorite move at this point. And then it happened. A new number texted me. "Please tell me it's not true." It was her husband, Mark. I stared at the screen and didn't answer. Instead, I did one thing. I RSVP'd to her baby shower. With a gift she'll never forget. Update 2. Okay, wow. So a few people messaged asking if I was serious about the baby shower. If I really RSV'd. If I really sent a gift she'll never forget. Short answer, yes. Long answer, buckle up. I didn't just RSVP. I wrapped the truth in a bow. See, Emily's baby shower was supposed to be this Pinterest-perfect garden party at our aunt's house. Lemonade jars, onesie decorating, balloon arch with a hashtag banner. She invited 40 people, half of whom she's talked trash about in group chats for years. I wasn't going to go at first. I mean, why? She called me a deadbeat to her kid, threw me under the bus with her husband, and weaponized a 6-year-old for emotional shrapnel. But then I thought, nah, let her feel it. Let her feel me show up. So I did. I wore a beige sweater and a polite smile. I brought a gift bag with a handwritten card. No sarcasm, no threats, just a single sentence. You raised your voice through your child. Here's what he heard. Inside the gift bag, a flash drive. On it, the full, uncut audio recording. I watched her open it in front of our mom, Mark, yes, he showed up, and two of her Instagram momfluencer friends. She didn't say a word, just stared at it like it was ticking. Mark? He just nodded, like something finally clicked into place. Emily stood up, knocked over her untouched mimosa, and walked out. The baby shower kind of dissolved after that. People left early. My aunt looked like she wanted to disappear. I heard one of Emily's friends whisper, "So it was true." Since then? Radio silence. Emily hasn't posted in days. Her account is private now. My mom texted a photo of the empty shower table and wrote, "Happy?" Number not happy. But I'm done pretending her words don't have weight. I'm done being the family doormat. And if she wants to call it destruction, fine. But she handed the kid the matches. All I did was show her the fire. It's been 4 days since the baby shower. Emily hasn't called, hasn't texted, hasn't shown up crying on anyone's doorstep. But I know she's spiraling because our mom's doing it for her. Yesterday she called and said, "You didn't have to humiliate her." I said, "I didn't." I handed her back what she gave me. Mom didn't like that answer. Said I've changed. Said I used to be kinder. That one stung more than I expected. Because I was kinder. For years. I swallowed every jab, laughed off every insult, played along with every family joke at my expense. I was the cool aunt who showed up with ice cream, who took the photos but never got tagged in them. But I'm not that person anymore. I don't think I'm colder. Just done pretending. Mark moved out of the hotel. Back into the house. Not for Emily, for Milo. He texted me that he's not sure what's going to happen, but he's looking into counseling, co-parenting, maybe even custody. She's not dangerous, he said. But I think she's been cruel for so long, she forgot it wasn't normal. I didn't argue. He asked if I'd be willing to spend more time with Milo to give him some stability. I said yes before I could think about it. I saw him yesterday. Milo, I mean. He ran up to me in the park and asked, "Are you still mad at mommy?" I didn't know what to say, so I said, "I don't know, bud. Grown-ups fight sometimes." He nodded, like that made perfect sense. Then handed me a dandelion he'd squished in his pocket. "Do you still want to come to my birthday?" That one got me, I told him. Wouldn't miss it. He smiled, then asked if we could get ice cream. We did. And for a while everything felt normal. But I still don't know what comes next. Emily's silence is loud. Not angry, not apologetic, just absence. A vacuum where her voice used to be. I don't miss her. But I miss the version of us I used to believe in. Before the jabs, before the cruelty, before the day her 6-year-old looked up at me and told me I was a loser. Maybe she'll never see herself the way we all do now. But I see myself differently. And that's something. I thought I'd feel lighter when it was all over. I thought standing up for myself would feel like this big victorious movie moment. Fireworks, applause, peace. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like walking out of a house that's still burning. You're safe, yeah? But you still smell like smoke. The family group chat is still active, barely. My mom sends the occasional prayer emoji. My cousin Bree posts memes. No one mentions the baby shower. No one talks about what happened. But we all know. Emily hasn't said a word to me, not one. But she did unblock me again. Subtle moves, her specialty. I saw she followed a therapy account yesterday. Baby steps, I guess. Mark and I talk now. Nothing deep, just updates about Milo, scheduling meetups, making sure he has some stability. He's still living at home, but it's tense. I don't ask for details. I think we're both afraid if we poke the wound, it'll start bleeding again. Last week he said, "You really didn't want revenge, did you?" I thought about it. Then told him, I wanted her to hear herself. That's all. I think that's the part no one gets. It wasn't about ruining her life. It was about finally saying, "I heard you, and I'm done pretending it didn't hurt." There's power in being believed. There's peace in no longer gaslighting yourself. I spent so long being the chill one, the helper, the backup, the punchline, and then one day, I wasn't. I don't know if Emily and I will ever speak again. I don't know if I want to. But I do know this. When you finally step out of the story they wrote for you, there's this weird silence at first. It's scary, lonely. But then you realize, you can write your own. And mine doesn't have room for someone who taught her son how to hate me in my own voice. So yeah, I'm still here, in my one-bedroom apartment. No shame in that, no regrets. I've got mac and cheese in the pantry, my own damn Spotify password, and a nephew who thinks I hung the moon. And that's enough.